if your man works from home and you go into the office, do you feel a certain way about coming home and having to cook? Because obviously, it seems as if, based on classic gender roles, it seems as if a woman will say, unless a man, now the situation is men or women say, "Oh, my man can cook. Oh, he can cook." They do that to try to hype you up to cook more, and there's no trick in that. But if you follow in classic gender roles and you like to cook, prepare things, and blah blah blah, and you going into work and he's going into work, and you come home and y'all getting home at the same time, or he getting home a little after you, or whatever the case may be. He had a hard day, you had a hard day, but you come home and your thing is to get in that kitchen and make it a family type situation and cook up the best and put it out there, and then y'all eat and y'all talk about y'all hard days. And that just seems natural. It just seems normal. But if all of a sudden he gets a job or his current job says, "Hey, go ahead and sit this one out, work from home," and now you come home and he still got on hooping shorts and a t-shirt, music playing, and he's worked from home, and you done just got off that road, you pick off some shoes and do whatever you do, put on your pajamas, whatever you got to do, and then you get in the kitchen and start cooking. Is there any resentment in that food?
So what do you think most people are going to say? Most women?
I think most women are going to say, not every day. I don't want to come home every day and have to cook. See, then it turns into a chore all of a sudden, see? It was a labor of love when both of y'all was leaving the house and working. Now, his check hasn't changed at all. Let's just even say he's making more money. Let's just even say he's making more money. That labor of love all of a sudden turns into a chore because you come home and he already there.
Okay, so, but we got to bring him back on track and say, we're not talking about every day. We're talking about you coming home and he's at home this day, and you have to cook. So what you think they'll say? It's either yes, I would like it, or no, I wouldn't.
The great preponderance of women is going to say, I don't want to have to work hard. They are discounting his total employment because he's home. Because they're going to say, I don't want to have to work all day and then have to come home and cook.
Okay, so you saying that they would say no?
No, they do not want to come home and cook. They do not want to. They don't feel like they should have to do that as if he's been there all day. As if his attendance at home means that everything that should be taken care of at home could be accomplished while simultaneously he's working that real job.
I think they're going to say yes, they wouldn't mind doing it.
Okay.
And so the real answer is going to be no. I don't think they'll admit to it.
Yeah, I really think it. Women hate more than being exposed is being taken advantage of. So when you present it in a way that you're both going to work and everything is good, and you're coming home and you're cooking and taking care of the family, they putting on that badge. They love that. You know what I'm saying? I'm Superwoman. I'm Karen White. You know what I'm saying? I am Superwoman. I go to work. I come home. I take it up. You know what I'm saying? Get it down. This is what I do. This is what I do for my family. What I do for my boo. Because this is what he's doing for me. We both understand the commute. We both understand the struggle. All of a sudden, if his commute is eliminated, then he needs to pick up something else. Although he's putting in the same hours at the gig. His commute hours, let's say y'all live 15 minutes from the job. That 30 minutes is not making that big a deal. But you feel like when you come home, man, something got to be better than it was before. He has to add something to the equation because he's working from home.
Okay, so even though your day didn't change,
yes,
he has to find some way to take a load off of your day. That's what you said.
Yes. He's inherited a benefit that you want in on.
Why we both got to get this benefit?
Because that's how couples are supposed to think. They're supposed to think as if one comes up, the other comes up. If one goes down, that's a whole nother conversation, though.
See, I think
one goes down, they both go down.
So that means if my boss says, "Hey, you can work from home today," and I tell you, you're not gonna say, "Oh, that's good." I'm thinking she gonna say, "Oh, he did? Okay, now I got some stuff that I need." He said we can have some extra time, not just you. Is that how?
Yeah. No. Yeah, we're the thinking we. Well, see, the situation is women thinking we because they're not selfish. See, so because women are teammates, they always thinking about the team. Even when it's not a good thing, they're always thinking about the team. So we go to dinner with them this weekend. We need to go out and get you some new socks and shoes. We need to, and there's always a we conversation with women. Always. Because they don't mind telling you what to do for them or with them. Now, if you say something that's a we thing, but let's just do this. You go to your girl and you say, "Hey, you got plans for Saturday?" She's like, "No, not right now. Why? We need to go out and get you some new panties and some new gloves and some more hair supplies." That's a problem. Don't think that you have just created, your generosity has just developed a significant problem with your lady. Because your heartfelt desire to do something for her, do something with her, has actually been perceived by her as scrutiny of what she currently has.
Why? Because of the article?
Because of the presentation. Because of the presentation. You cut into the quick by saying, "Hey, Saturday, let's go out and grab you some panties and some bras and some stuff, stuff that you might think you need or stuff you haven't really went out and bought in a while." That's how you thinking about it. That's how you present it. What she would like for you to say is, "No, this is the perfect scenario." She would like for you to go mistakenly get the wrong stuff and then go back with you to return it and get the right stuff. Because above all else, women want to have a dude that can lead them as long as they have veto power, which diminishes the key concept of leadership. You don't need veto power with leadership. You either believe in a leader and let them lead you, or you go lead yourself. It can't be both ways.
I mean, that's killing the idea, so that's the actual final say, right?
Yes, sir.
So how do you have final say, but you're being led?
We going to be generous. You're leading them to options. And then they're making the decision. So what you're supposed to do is, you're not supposed to be impetuous to think that you know enough to make decisions for her. "Hey, we're going to Olive Garden tonight. I would have enjoyed if you asked me, did I want Italian or Chinese or blah, blah, blah." So then you say, "Okay, do you want Italian, Chinese, or whatever?" I figured you didn't want Chinese because it was changed last Thursday. And I figured you didn't want barbecue because I just threw something on the grill last Saturday. Olive Garden is fine then, but I'm just saying, it's how you came about it. Because once you create that, you thought about this, now it's okay. See, you got to have so much more conversation than is necessary sometimes when you have an insecure woman, which is a whole other conversation. Because a lot of this is about insecurity. A lot of this, I want a man that's just a strong leader, but I also want veto power. That's an insecurity. That's a fail-safe or a fallback because you really don't believe in his leadership. He can't be a very strong leader, and you want to reserve the right for veto power. Right. And the reason why that becomes more important is the same reason why women don't want prenuptials. If you love me, you love me. You shouldn't have to have veto power in the marriage. That's what a prenuptial is. A prenuptial allows you to have veto power to her access to stuff and things if the marriage doesn't work out.
Right.
But if you go in with that mindset that stuff's not going to work out or might not work out, you don't love her as much as you should. Well, if you got a dude that's supposed to be leading you, there should be no leadership prenuptial.
I think a prenuptial is the ultimate love. That's showing you, look, I'll sign whatever.
Exactly. I'm in this because we in this.
Right.
But that's not how they think. That's not, to the most part. You do have some. There's a whole other conversation about women who think like a dude and think they a dude in a relationship, which is obviously a subset of this not being able to be led thing. And not that all men can lead. The situation is women don't even want to be listed as the leader in relationship documents.
Right.
Which every dudes are not born leaders. People are not born leaders or born followers. Some people have a propensity to lead, others have a propensity to follow. You have to find somebody that's your yang or your yin. You know what I'm saying? Your person that balances you out.
Right.
And the fact is, if you know you a leader, don't try to find a dude that's a leader because all y'all gonna do is argue and fight and both y'all trying to be alpha. Find a dude that's cool with everything. Whatever you want, babe. You know what I'm saying? Okay, you want PL change again? I don't care. When a strong woman that likes to lead finds that dude, he's not confrontational. He doesn't care enough. He's not vocal enough. It's like you can't win for losing.
That's right.
You can't win for losing. Because what the ultimate situation is, I as a woman, want to be a strong leader with veto power and have a strong man that leads as a matter of my convenience. So when I want him to lead, they want him to lead until he's not doing exactly what they want him to do. If he comes up with his own opinions and his own ideas, that's when you step in and say, that's not what I was thinking. We got to bring it back in. You was doing great as long as you was thinking just like I was thinking and anticipating all my moves and all my thoughts. But as soon as you stepped off and you thought that was a good idea, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. So that's really the situation. That's the problem is if you can get over yourself and decide where are you in the relationship. Are you a great follower or are you a great leader? And sometimes, in many instances, these things can become interchangeable, but the titles are not. Either you're the primary leader or you're the primary follower, period. If you can be okay with that, you're going to be fine. But if you want to be the leader masquerading as a follower for the optics of it, it's not going to work. If you want to be a follower acting like you're the leader, that's definitely not. That just sounds bad.
Right.
That sounds bad. And what I mean by a follower masquerading as a leader is a person that acts like they're a leader, who is listening to advice from external sources and applying it to an internal situation. They're following. They're a leader in their relationship because they do trust them to lead. You don't realize you're getting proxy information from Facebook and Twitter and girlfriends and aunties. Like, she's not making these decisions on her own. She's making decisions about you and y'all, where y'all live and what y'all do, based on what these people are telling her.
Committee, yes.
She's a fugazi leader. The reason why that is because whenever your baseline is how is this going to be viewed, or what are people going to think?
Right.
You got the wrong baseline. Because you naturally have the ability to discern right from wrong, good from evil, what's for you and what's not. More importantly, what's for you and what's not. Right. You can kind of tell what's for you. You know what I'm saying? Great example. I do not like scary movies. I don't like horror movies. Now, if a campaign launched on Twitter about one of the greatest horror movies ever, but trust me, it's not that. There's two things, especially black folks. There's two things that I've heard in my life more than anything else from black folks. A, it's not that scary. You can watch it. It's not that scary. I don't watch scary movies. Dude, I'm telling you, it's not that scary. The other thing is, it's not that spicy. I don't like spicy. Trust me, this is not that spicy. I don't like spicy. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with leading me. I'm cool with standing on mine. The problem is people are tasting it anyway. They'll go to the movie anyway, knowing they're not entertained by that shit. I'm not entertained by that, but I'm going to let you peer pressure me into it. Now I got a miserable time.
issue with the scary movies. Okay. When people say, "Oh, it's not that scary," I didn't say I will be scared or I'm scared of them. I don't like them. I don't like them. People who like scary movies do get scared. That's why they like them. Right. They don't scare me. I think they stupid. I don't like them. Right. Why do you think the level of scariness matters to me? It don't.
That's the default answer. That's how folks have been conditioned to answer things and to peer pressure people into what they want, into their agenda. And the problem is, this is why people call it bullying nowadays. But the reality of it is, we called it peer pressure or persuasion when I was coming up. The reality of it is, if people are doing what you doing or what you want, then they lame and they just don't get it. They ain't up on it if they ain't doing what you're doing. And you got to be okay at some point in time not to be up on what other people is up on. And be okay if they ain't up on what you up on. Everybody can't do the same thing. It shouldn't be two of me. That's too much. That's way too much. So that's the deal. That's the deal. But yeah, the women in relationships is basically that. You want somebody that thinks like you and acts like you, except you don't want him to. And he has to be the master of guessing those times. I'm going to do me. Right. What's good for me. Right. I ain't worried about public consumption. I think we get too caught up in what is somebody going to think of my dude? What is somebody going to think of my girl? What is somebody going to think of my situation? And the problem is people only see snapshots of your situation. Seeing something in a picture and seeing something on video is two different somethings. And so you just seeing a picture or something. You see a picture of two guys standing next to each other. It's like, oh, them dudes best friends. And then if you see the video, a second later he lean over and kiss the dude. You're like, what the hell? That wasn't what that picture had said. So life actually exists in videos. You got to know the whole story. If you get a half truth, you're gonna give half advice. And that's the thing. People not honest enough to give the whole truth, and they not. First of all, you don't have to give anybody nothing. You don't have to explain yourself and your situation to nobody.